Honored rabbis, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for helping me celebrate my Barmitzvah. I'm so lucky to be surrounded by so many wonderful people. My amazing parents who give me so much. Mom and Dad, thank you so much for building us a home filled with warmth, love, patience, and Torah values. I'm so pleased that my two great-grandmothers, Granny Roch and Boborei, are here to celebrate my Bar Mitzvah with us. I'm also blessed to have all my grandparents. Each one of them has played such an important role in my life and has given me so much love and attention. My uncles and aunts, my great-uncles and great-aunts, my cousins and friends have all enriched my life, and we've had a lot of fun together. I'm grateful to my three stunning sisters for all their love and all the fun we have together. Special thanks to Noah for being the MC, and to Karen for her kind words. And last but not least, to Hashem for showering me with endless brachas. Tonight I would like to share with you a Mishnah in Pirkei Avos, chapter 4, Mishnah 3. The Mishnah reads, "Do not regard anyone with contempt, and do not reject anything, for there is no man who does not have his hour, and no thing that does not have its place." So what does this mean? The Maharal explains that every person and everything plays a role in the grand scheme of creation, saying every person has his hour, his moment in history to achieve his mission, and everything has its place, its function in the divine plan. Tonight I would like to elaborate on this Mishnah by sharing a story from Rabbi Pesach Krohn's book that changed my whole outlook on life. Rabbi Moshe Platchuk is a Rebbe in the yeshivas of Derech HaChaim. And once a man came up to him and asked him the following question, which I'm sure a lot of us have asked. The question the man asked was as follows: what difference does it make if I, a regular guy, learns Torah? Who cares? How will it make a difference to the world? Rabbi Platchuk told him the most remarkable story to answer his question. Many years ago, the greatest symphony conductor in the world was an Italian maestro by the name of Arturo Toscanini. He died in the year 1957 at the age of 89. He was known for his intensity, his perfectionism, his ear for orchestral detail, and his photographic memory. An accomplished writer was working on a biography on the great maestro and often came to interview him. One afternoon, the biographer called Toscanini and asked for permission to visit him the following night. So Toscanini said, "Not tomorrow night, I can't do tomorrow night." The biographer asked again. Toscanini insisted. "Tomorrow night I'm doing something special, and I can't have any interruptions." "What are you doing that's so special?" asked the biographer. He says, Toscanini replies back to him, "There will be a concert in Europe, and I plan to listen to it on the radio. I led the orchestra last year, and I would like to hear how the conductor there leads them this year." But sir," protested the biographer, I would be honored to sit silently and discuss the concert with you after it's over. I promise I won't say a word. I'll sit on the other side of the room and not utter a sound during the concert." Eventually, after all this arguing, Toscanini relented and allowed the writer to visit during the broadcast of the concert performance. The next night at 7:45, the writer came to Toscanini's home. At 8 o'clock the concert began. Together they listened for a full hour. As Toscanini switched off the radio, the biographer approached him and asked him, "Well, wasn't that magnificent?" And Toscanini said, "No, it was terrible. There were supposed to be 120 musicians, among them 15 violinists, but only 14 were there." The biographer was incredulous. That's ridiculous, he thought. How in the world could Toscanini know the difference between 14 and 15 violinists out of an orchestra of 120 musicians on a radio broadcast? He didn't dare question the great maestro, who was known for his temper. But however, he had to find out for himself if it was true. The next morning, he called the music director of that orchestra and said, "I'm an American news correspondent, and please tell me, how many musicians were supposed to be in your orchestra last night, and how many actually showed up?" The director replied, "There were supposed to be 120 musicians, among them 15 violinists, but one violinist called in sick, so there were only 14. The biographer could not believe his ears. How in the world could Toscanini have known that? That night, he returned to Toscanini's home, and he said to the maestro, "You know, I owe you an apology. Last night when you told me there were only 14 violinists at the concert, I was sure you were just guessing. But I phoned the director of the orchestra today, and he confirmed what you just said. Just tell me one thing. How in the world did you know the difference between 14 and 15 violinists out of an orchestra of 120 musicians on a radio broadcast?" So Toscanini paused for a moment and he said with authority, "You know, there's a big difference between me and you. You are the audience, and to you everything sounds great. But me, I'm the conductor, and a conductor must listen to every note that comes forth. When I heard the performance last night, I realized that some notes were not coming forth. I knew without a question that there was one violinist missing. So this is what Rabbi Platchuk told the man. He said, maybe to me, when you learn, it makes no difference. But to the conductor of the World Symphony, to Hashem, who knows every line of music that comes forth, who knows every line of Torah that can be learned, and every line of tefillah that can be prayed, who's listening to everyone, and every act of kindness that can be done, to him, it makes a difference. And not only that, to him, it's a completely different music. And essentially, we're all musicians in Hashem's Symphony Orchestra. And in any orchestra, the drummer cannot play the cello, and the cellist cannot play the flute, and the flutist cannot play the violin, saying each must play his instrument to the best of his ability. Every one of us is unique. No two people are alike, and no two people should try to be alike. We must each be the best that we can be. Our focus must always be to perform on the highest level of capability to the conductor of the World Symphony. Thank you to Rabbi Warren for your kind words, and to my dad for everything you said. Thank you to Zayda Ezra and Zayda Roy for your warm and kind words on our Shabbos lunch. And thank you to everyone for sharing our simcha with us.